Hey, I'm Nicole and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the best books of the decade according to Goodreads. So there is a list on Goodreads that is called Best Books of the Decade 2010s, and I am very curious about the books that are on it. Obviously it is a popularity contest because everything that happens on Goodreads as a platform is about certain books being more popular or authors being more popular and more read. Goodreads Choice Awards. But still I aim to give it a fair chance. Also, there's a high probability that I have not read most of these books.
Round 1. Fight!
So, the first book on this list is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, which I have not read. I've seen the movie and I really didn't care about it much, so I guess it is an iconic book of 2010. It was super popular, super hyped. So at the end of the day, I'm not very mad that it made it into the list. It makes sense for it to be in the first place, even if I didn't know how good the writing is, because I have not read it. I'm such a good judge, especially because I have not read many of these books. The perfect person for this job. The second book is Divergent by Veronica Roth, which I have not read as well, but I've seen the movie. There is a trend in this video. Don't know about the book. I know that it's also considered to be iconic on the par with The Hunger Games, which I finally picked up. And I guess it's fair for it to be on the second place. Well, the third place is *𝕊𝕊𝕀𝔸𝕃 by Susan Collins, and I think it's unfair then. Because Susan Collins was the start of the trend and she should have been on the second place at least. I don't know why The Hunger Games didn't make it and *𝕊𝕊𝕀𝔸𝕃 did. Maybe The Hunger Games were released a year or two earlier. I am currently reading *𝕊𝕊𝕀𝔸𝕃 and it is definitely still readable now in 2019. So I guess I'm not mad. The next book is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, which made a lot of noise. I have not read this book. I've read her other books and she is such a good writer. I love her thrillers. I also seen the movie. It's iconic. I think it did make a huge noise. I think that Gone Girl in general made an imprint on pop culture, so it's fair for it to be there. Now I'm rethinking Divergent. I don't think that it made the same amount on influence on the genre in general, on the young adult dystopian genre, and I don't think that it was as iconic as these three. I mean, The Fault in Our Stars, *𝕊𝕊𝕀𝔸𝕃, and Gone Girl. On the first place is The Martian by Andy Weir, and I have not read this book as well. I have seen the movie though. The movie was funny. I liked it. I think that even though The Martian didn't make a huge splash in pop culture, it still was important because Matt Damon got a chance to show that he is not as shit as we know he is. So that's fair. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. Have not read it, heard a lot about it. It's a World War II novel. I don't think that it's the best book of the decade. I am judging purely from the pop culture point of view. The best books, in my opinion, have to make a difference or have to make the memes. And this book definitely won't make the memes. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Oh, this one made the memes. The memes of how terrible the book was. I do have the book and I'm hesitating picking it up because I know that it's bad. People say it's bad. People believe it. On 8th place is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, and now you're just taking a piss because what did this book do to the genre? Nothing. What did this book do in general? Nothing. Cinder by Marissa Mayer on the 9th place. Even though I didn't like this book, I do think that it started a trend of young adult fairy tale retellings in fantasy and sci-fi, which is something I think this book could be applauded for and why it could make the list in general. The next one is this trash book called Me Before You by 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝔸𝕃. I've tried starting it and I couldn't move past the blatant ableism, so this book is trash and doesn't deserve to be here. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, also not a book that I loved. I gave it 3 stars, wasn't my cup of tea, doesn't have much plot to be honest, and I feel like it was written as a writing exercise in how beautiful the writing can be, but it is definitely iconic because a lot of people still talk about it. A lot of people still love it very much. Even though it didn't have a movie adaptation or a TV adaptation, people still talk about it to this day. So I think it's fair for it to be in this list. The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. I've read only one book by Rick Riordan, which was from the original series, and I don't know much about this one, but I know that Rick Riordan is a fantastic person, and for that only he deserves to be here. His books are something that I want to see in middle grade and young adult because kids need to learn and kids need to be seen, and he does that without hesitation, which is in this global political environment a weird thing to see from a white older dude. So the next book is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, and even though I have to admit that it's super popular, it started a trend of this annoying Mary Series books about girls that talk much but don't do much. I still hate it, it's garbage writing. I don't understand how Sarah J Maas literally made it into the publishing gig because this is bad. But I do agree that it made a splash, that it's on everyone's lips still, and that is why it has to be on the list. But in my opinion, much lower. The Selection by Kiera Cass, literally don't know how this book made it into the list. We need to scratch it out. The next book is A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin. Unpopular opinion, I really love his writing style. I love how lush it is. I love how description filled it is. I love the characters, and I love that it's multiple point of view. It was very clear for me from the start. I wasn't confused. I think it's a grand work, but The Dance of Dragons is a book that I have not read yet. I stopped on the 4th book, I think. So in general, for lists like this, I don't think that 4th and 5th books in the series are allowed to make it, because it's odd for me, especially when it comes to contests, not lists, because people have to read like 10 books prior to rate your book and vote for it. So on the 16th place is Eleanor in Park by Rainbow Rowell, which is a questionable choice. I have not read this one in particular. I've read Attachments, I've read Fangirl, I've read Carry On. I do think that Eleanor Park was quite popular. People are now questioning its popularity, which is fair. But in general, I think that Fangirl was her most popular work. Maybe it could compete with Carry On, but because Carry On is gay, I think it's more niche. So I would be comfortable putting Fangirl there, but Eleanor in Park, I don't think so. So the next one is Insurgent by Veronica Roth, and I've told you how I feel about second books in the series on lists like this. We do not tolerate it. Let's cancel it. The 18th is Room by Emma Donoghue, which I have not read, but it was adapted to a movie and it gives it status. And also, I think people talked about it a little bit. So maybe 18th place is appropriate, maybe not. We'll see what other books are on this list, and then I will rank the books myself, because clearly I am an expert. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Briggs. It was a movie by Tim Burton, a pretty decent movie. I really liked it, and people talked about it, but now it's not that relevant, so I don't know, maybe 19th place is appropriate. Clockwork Prince, I thought we already talked about this, second book in the series. I think that Cassandra Clare could make this list with her original series in this world, but the Infernal Devices are not that popular. The first series was adapted to movie first, then to a TV show, so I think the original series is allowed to be here.
Round 2, fight!
I'm Malala, Hair of Fire, Before I Go to Sleep, The Throne of Fire, by Rick Riordan again. Hush Hush. I don't know how Hush Hush made it into this list in general. These are all the books I don't care and have not read. The Song of Achilles is a 105th book on this list. What is wrong with this list? A lot. 106 is Shadow and Bone. I do think that The Six of Crows is a better series, but Shadow and Bone meet 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝕸𝕃 do get popular, so I don't know. A Little Life, Red Rising, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is a cursed book and needs to be burned. I think at this point it's a very random list. You know what? I'm going to take the books from this list and arrange them in the proper order. So I'll see you in a little bit when everything becomes right.
Final round. Fight!
I made myself a template and I saved up all the covers from the list. Well, not all of them, but the first 80 maybe. I skipped some because I don't think I'm going to put these books on my list. The first book is The Fault in Our Stars, which I think deserves to be on the list because it was a huge deal in 2010, 2013. I think maybe 5th place is gonna be appropriate for this book. Next is Gone Girl, and I do want it on my list. I'm putting it before The Fault in Our Stars. I think it made a bigger splash, not just in young adult genre specifically. I think Cinder is an interesting pick. I might actually do something with Cinder. I already said that I think that Cinder kickstarted fairy tale retellings in young adult. The next one is Throne of Glass, and even though I hate it so much, I think that we need to honor the trend of girls that drink dump juice that this book started and keep it on the list. Also, has anyone noticed how buff the girl's arm is on this picture? Instead of Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury, I want to put a different book that I think had done the job better. And this book is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, because Holly Black finally justified putting fairies into books. The next book that I actually want to put on the list, don't hate me, I know that it sounds terrible, is Anna and the French Kiss. So Anna and the French Kiss maybe is an unassuming book, but people talked about it. It started this fluffy, cute romances, or maybe it restarted them because I've read a lot of them when I was younger. And without it, To All the Boys I Loved Before would have never been published. That's just my theory. I'm sad to say, but 50 Shades of Grey need to make it on the list. It is something that was popular not only with readers, but also with people that don't actually read. And I guess it's gonna be competing for the last place with Anna and the French Kiss and Throne of Glass, because it has to. I'm not happy about it. Honestly, I'm not. I don't want to put it there, but well. I think this is going to be the list. This is the final list. The only thing that I'm sad about as a queer woman is that no books with queer women made the list. Sarah Waters didn't came out with any iconic books this decade, and I tried to put The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo there, but I didn't think we know the impact of this book yet, so I didn't feel comfortable with it. Anyway, someone needs to write an iconic FF book, and also we all need to stun it, because you all don't give enough attention to queer women in general. This is my list. I've put numbers on it for convenience, and not that I'm very confident in it, but I would take all the responsibility for it. In the comments down below, you can tell me how dumb I am, how much of an idiot I am for skipping your favorite book, or for putting books that I don't like on this list. And I guess I'll see you next with another video.